Welcome back to the Vow Factor. I'm your host, Emily Klein with Wedding Day Content Creator.
And I'm Jessie Reichenbaum with Wedding Day Content Co. And today we have such an exciting episode because we are going to talk and deep dive all into Emily's wedding. And I just want to jump right in and have you set the scene for us. Take us back.
So we got to go back 5 years to 2020.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to get married.
What a time to get married. I guess engaged, right?
Engaged, planning a wedding, literally was going into the unknown. But my husband and I have been together since we were 17 in high school. We're 29 now. So at that point, we were turning 25. We were ready to get engaged, take the next step in our relationship. And, a pandemic wasn't going to affect us one bit.
Pandemic won't stop you.
No, never. In fact, my ring was ready for pickup the day New York City shut down.
What a start.
I booked a flight home.
I feel like you just can only go up from there.
You can only go up from there. I booked a flight home and I looked at who was going to be my fiance, Garrick. And I was like, all right, so we are leaving New York City at 6 a.m. tomorrow because things are scary. So if there's anything important that you need to pick up, please go pick it up before we leave because I don't know when we're coming back.
Wow. And so you thought it was going to happen. You thought you were going to get engaged.
Yes.
Because you were supposed to get engaged.
We were supposed to get engaged May of 2020. But obviously we didn't. We were planning a trip and obviously, we didn't know if the trip was going to happen or not. But I was like, just go pick up that special thing that I think is ready to be picked up before we leave because I don't know what's happening. The world is crazy. Let's just,
have it in our possession.
Just have it. And so I'm pretty sure that's what Garrick did. I think he went and picked it up and had it with us in Florida with my family the whole time.
He held on to that for what, 5 months?
Yes, because he didn't propose to me until August 7th, 2020. And he was totally basing it off when I was going to be able to get my hair highlighted again.
This is such a funny story.
It's so funny. So he kept having to reschedule our proposal. And I feel so bad because I know it's so much pressure to even put together one proposal plan. He put together 4 or 5. This poor guy.
Garrick is the man.
He is the man. And our engagement was out of a movie.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. It wasn't originally what he had planned, but it was so much better in my opinion because we had Central Park all to ourselves.
Empty.
It was empty.
Pictures are beautiful.
There was not a soul in Central Park. Nobody else in our pictures. It is so cool. So
I love that.
He, rented out Central Park for me. I'm just kidding. But it definitely looked like it. We could tell our kids that and they would be like,
of course
they would believe it. Of course,
Why wouldn't he?
But yeah, so I was planning a wedding starting August 8th, 2020 until obviously we got married, which was November 20th, 2021. So I ended up having a little bit longer of an engagement than I originally had in my mind. I thought that we were going to have, kind of a shorter engagement. I was ready to kind of get married, start that next phase of our life. But with the pandemic, it was going dress shopping. You had to go by yourself.
Okay,
so
wait, so talk about dress shopping because not only was it a pandemic, but it's something that you were probably looking forward to arguably the most.
Yes.
Other than getting married.
If you know me by now, I love wedding dresses. It was my favorite part of planning my wedding. I tried on every wedding dress in the land. I went everywhere because my family couldn't really travel to New York to see us because there was just too many things happening. It would have been impossible.
Right.
But I went and I traveled and I saw everyone, and I made little stops like all over the US to see my family and tried on dresses.
Emily's national wedding dress try on tour.
Yes, we should have like a little edit where it's like me in a car like going around, because like we drove a lot of places. Just like a road trip. Me in my little wedding gown, just making my rounds. Cartoon. It was so cool. It was a very different experience than what a lot of brides have, but I really did enjoy it. I got to have a day where I tried on wedding dresses with my mother-in-law in Pennsylvania. We just went together and I tried on so many, and it was in her hometown, which is like this really small town in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. And we went to like the one wedding dress shop that's like, within, I don't know, miles and miles and miles. Yeah. And she's like, I'm pretty sure she went in there for like some of her formal gowns too at some point.
Oh my gosh. So it was like the one-stop shop in the town.
It was the one-stop shop. It was so special and so much fun. I flew to Dallas. My parents are divorced, so my dad and my stepmom were there, and I got to go with my dad and my stepmom and kind of go around to a couple stores and see what's going on in Dallas. I got to go dress shopping with my mom and my sisters in Florida. We went to Orlando and did a lot of shopping there, and that was really fun. And so obviously also I went to all the stores in New York. I started at Kleinfeld.
You have to
kick it off at Kleinfeld. You have to kick it off at Kleinfeld. And I was able to bring 2 friends to that appointment, which was great.
That's really nice.
They didn't have my dress though at Kleinfeld.
They carry your designer, though, right?
They carried my designer.
But you didn't know your dress yet, because that was your first stop.
That was my first stop. And you don't know your dress sometimes on your first stop.
That is very true.
And then where I ended up finding my dress was really funny, because this store is so beautiful. I'd walk my dog past it all the time. And I would look in the store window and I would be like, oh, I wish I could buy my dress here. I thought all the dresses were like way out of my budget. I don't know why.
Because it's beautiful.
The store is just like the most beautiful store. I went to many stores. This was beyond.
Do you want to say what store it is?
Pronovius, the flagship store
in Manhattan, is like, it has these big windows and it like is so grand, and they have like the most gorgeous dresses in the windows. Yeah. And the way the store is set up is so bright and like
it's
luxe.
Bright, modern, just like, I think they had just reopened the store like right as I was dress shopping. So I think it was like one of the first few rounds of brides. So, and I just like went in there because I saw that they were having a Black Friday sale. Oddly enough, the first day I went to try on wedding dresses was exactly a year before I got married.
Wait, so was mine. It was the same weekend.
Really?
Yes.
That's so funny.
Like the exact same weekend.
Yeah, I had obviously like I hadn't picked a venue yet, but
neither did I.
Crazy.
It just ended up being the same weekend.
Oh,
that's so funny.
That is so funny.
I was literally thinking about that earlier when I was looking at my dresses.
Wow, we have so much in common.
We are one brain.
We are.
We single brain cell that is functioning. We split between us.
That is crazy.
Isn't it funny?
I don't know. I feel like it's lucky.
Yeah, and wait, I love the story behind your dress, but I feel like you need to hold off, because when you're planning your wedding, I feel like the first thing that a lot of people do is they get their venue and then they get their dress.
Me, I was like, dress.
Dress first, diving in.
I was like, oh, the venue will come when it happens.
What did you think you wanted with finding your wedding dress?
I wanted the poofiest ball gown, and I wanted to have the most tiniest snatch little waist. I wanted to look like a Barbie popping out of a cake, you know?
Oh, I know. And Emily, what did you end up with?
The tightest fitting Naked Illusion dress, but that wasn't like, it was like done in good taste.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
no, beautiful.
Yeah, but just the total opposite.
Oh, because I always tell people, I'm like, when you're going dress shopping, you have to have an open mind, because you genuinely don't know what is going to feel right on you.
Yeah.
Because this is not just any dress. It's your wedding dress.
Right. And that was my issue at Kleinfeld. I only tried on poofy, big ball gowns, and I put them on. And I'm someone that like for a few hours can wear something uncomfortable. But when it's like, I'm going to be in this for more than 3 to 4 hours, I need to be comfortable. And those big ball gowns that I tried on that gave that effect was like carrying around 50 pounds.
They're heavy.
50 pounds. And
I would know.
Yes, you do know. So I put it on and immediately was like, I have to have this off of my body right now. Like, I'm having issues with this so much.
Was it like kind of like a mental fuck to like,
yes.
to like kind of like change your entire perception?
Yes, my whole Pinterest board and all the wedding photos and inspo that I had.
Out the window.
Totally out the window.
Yeah.
So, and I found my dress at Pronovius. I went in because they were advertising like a Black Friday sale around November 20th when, and so I go in and I'm like, well, maybe I can afford a dress if, like it's on this
sale.
Black Friday sale. And of course my associate comes in and she's like, yeah, like these are all the dresses that we have, and I'm like, okay, but are these in my budget? She's like, they're under your budget. And I was like, what do you mean these are under my budget?
Definitely check out Pronovius because Emily took me there and gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Like,
I was in that store and I was like, I want to try on everything here. And it was all in budget.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, crazy. And like I was prepared, like my parents were very generous and they were offering to pay for my wedding dress, but they did give me a budget and I was prepared to go in and like match that budget to a certain number. And so like that's what I had told the sales associate. I was like, oh, like I could go up to this. I would prefer to stay in this range. And she's like, yeah, all of these are, way under your budget. I was like, okay.
Give me 14 of them right now.
Give me 14 of them right now. So I'm trying on these dresses. I'm having the time of my life. It's just me by myself. I'm FaceTiming my mom and my sister who are in the car driving somewhere. Because this is how like last minute, like very relaxed this whole thing was. And I tried on 2 dresses that I was like, I think these could potentially be my dress. And I put them both on and one had sleeves. And I did not envision myself in a wedding dress with sleeves.
Interesting.
Ever. I was like, I want something that's off the shoulder. I was very inspired by Hailey Bieber's wedding dress.
Okay.
I was like, I loved Off-White and I just love that like Virgil designed her dress.
Interesting. I feel like that is not what I knew in at all.
So I went in and I was like,
okay, interesting.
Yeah, but she had sleeves on her dress.
I was going to say, but she
did have sleeves. And so I was like looking at the sleeves and I was like, but these sleeves are not like sleeves. Like these are like illusion sleeves.
Insert a picture of Emily's wedding dress.
So it looked like the way the mesh was done on the sleeves was like very, very fine to the point where it could look like I just had embroidery tattooed on my arm.
It was like invisible.
It was invisible mesh. It was so gorgeous. Because after I tried that dress on, that's when I went on my world tour and I was like showing everyone, I was like, yeah, but like, what about, do you like this naked illusion sleeve dress that I never thought I would wear? And everyone was kind of looking at it and they're like, I mean, you look really good.
Yeah.
You look really good. But like, is this what you would envision for your wedding day? And I was like, no, but I kind of like it. And so I'd go and I'd, go to these different bridal salons and I'd be like, give me a dress with sleeves. Throw one in there. I want to see what it looks like. And every single dress that I would try on with the sleeves, they didn't do the mesh correctly. In my opinion, after trying on that Pronovius dress, because it wasn't that invisible mesh.
But I feel like it's always a sign when you are comparing every dress to one specific dress. Mm-hmm. Like it's always like you kind of know. And if like you need to sleep on it or you need some time, but if you find yourself comparing every dress to one dress, that's how you know it's your dress.
Now, I found my dress. I tell my parents, I'm like, this is the one. I'm going to insert a bridal tip here. So if you are a bride listening to this podcast, you are going to want to pay attention to this part right here, right now. It is so important. I think we should clip this for social. This is the clip for this episode because this is my tip when buying your dress. So Pronovius is probably going to hate me for spilling this secret, but it's okay. I've told it on TikTok. I've told it on YouTube. They gave me a certain price in their store, in the flagship store, and they told me that this specific dress was available here. I didn't exactly find the exact same dress because they carried plus sizing in their store, and this store that I found in Orlando didn't carry the plus sizing, so I don't know if maybe that was the difference of what they were saying. But I found my dress in Orlando at a boutique wedding salon for a discounted rate.
Was it on a discount or was it just priced differently?
One priced differently, two, you got a discount if you like bought a dress that month.
Oh,
So
interesting.
what you do is you pick up the phone and you call 1-800-Pronovius and you say, hi, will you price match this boutique? Because I can buy from them or I can still buy directly from you. And I live in New York, so it makes sense. But I also, and they're like, oh, no, we'll take the sale. Thank you.
That's good customer service.
Almost $1,000 off of my wedding dress.
Wow.
$1,000.
This was the start of
my
Emily's
wedding
discounts
dress.
for your wedding.
Yeah, this whole episode, welcome to Emily's budget wedding without having a budget wedding because I had 200 people at a luxury hotel. We'll get into pricing, but Jessie was shocked when I told her at lunch what I got deals on.
I was like, how much did you pay?
Yeah.
We are not the same, but we got married in very different times.
We did. I feel like because this was a pandemic wedding, there were things that, you could kind of just get away with.
I feel like people then...
Also, it was 5 years ago.
It was 5 years ago, but also at that time, everything was so unknown that they were just happy to have a sale. They were happy to have a booking. So if you needed a few hundred off, they were going to do it.
We need to talk about the fact that I got married on the cusp of weddings exploding on social media. Weddings and the way that they are, portrayed on social media today is so different than how they were portrayed in 2021.
Yeah.
So there's so much more demand for all of these other vendors, dresses, things like that. That's why people are charging so much, because the demand has just gone
exploded.
Yeah.
It's literally exploded.
Yeah.
And I was caught in those crossfires.
You got in the crossfire.
Sure.
I was just before.
You were just before.
Cut off.
So,
but
I really want to talk more about your actual wedding day. And
do
leading up to your wedding day, what did you envision? What was the theme or the style or the vibe? What was your guys' vibe?
So my husband and I are very inspired by the Great Gatsby movie. It came out in 2013, the newer version of The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio. And that is the year that we started dating.
Oh, wait, I didn't know. That's so cute. Okay.
So we had gone to the movies and we saw that movie. And I just we read The Great Gatsby. We were both in the same really rigorous high school IB program. And The Great Gatsby was one of the big books that we read. Mm-hmm. And so that was really cool. And so we loved all the music from the movie. We've always been very inspired by all of the music from the movie. And so when it came time to planning our wedding, it also was in, the 20s again. We were back in the 20s.
I love that. I didn't even think about that.
And we had been locked up and inside without being able to go out and party with our friends. And so it made sense to throw this really crazy, epic party night where everyone could just have a second to let loose and eat and drink and dress up. And, we just pictured it to be so grand and so epic. And
the Roaring 20s.
The Roaring 20s.
I love it.
So we just got very into it, but we wanted it to be a touch of Gatsby that's a little bit more modern, but still a little vintage all at the same time. So when we were venue shopping.
Inspired by, not themed.
Exactly. Because I didn't want our wedding to give New Year's Eve party.
Or a costume party.
Yeah.
Okay.
I encouraged people to add elements that made them feel Gatsby, but I was it's not a costume wedding. It still is a black tie event.
Right.
If you want to add some pearls or if you want to have a little feather or something like that, go for it. If you want to have a little beaded fringe moment,
Amazing.
Go for it.
Love it.
But it's not a full costume thing. But anyway, so when we were venue shopping, we had no idea what state we wanted to get married in. And this is why it took us.
Because you both are from Florida.
Because we're both from Florida. Garrick's parents had moved from Florida to Pennsylvania in 2019.
So weird.
I said Florida?
I did.
How did you say it?
I don't know. But I'm so sorry.
We'll hear it back. Florida. She's from New York.
But you and Garrick are both from Florida.
We're both from Florida.
And you were living in New York at the time.
And we were living in New York, and all of our friends were in New York, and his parents are in Pennsylvania. And then, so we wanted to invite, like, the goal of our wedding was to have everyone there. The focus of the wedding was massive amounts of people because we hadn't seen anyone.
That's so true.
In like almost 2 years by the time we got married.
Yeah, because it was November of 2021.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
So the focus was on bringing people together. And honestly, the whole time we were planning our wedding, we were just praying and hoping that that was even going to be possible. And it was so important to us. It was a chance that we were willing to take of like having to reschedule our wedding. I know that happened to so many people. Luckily, I'll tell you now, like we were able to have our full wedding. Obviously, it didn't come without some little hiccups with the pandemic along the way. But for the most part, like everything was great. Everyone could come.
Amazing.
No one was sick. No one got sick after our wedding.
Wow.
It was that 3-week mark right before Omicron hit.
I got hit
But
with
there
that
was
one.
not one COVID case that was linked to our wedding. Thank God.
That's so impressive.
It was scary. But anyway.
Your venue shopping.
So when we were venue shopping, we were like, do we get married in the city? Do we get married in Long Island? Do we get married we looked at venues in New Jersey. You'll laugh at this one. Like, you'll really laugh at this one. There was a Gatsby themed hotel in Atlantic City that we even looked at. But the ballroom was so gorge.
What was the hotel's name? Do you know? We'll have to look it up after.
We'll have to look it up.
That's so funny.
I think it was like
I guess don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, Claridge Hotel maybe?
Truthfully,
But you
I don't
could
know anything
have-
about Atlantic City.
I think
been.
it was the Claridge. They were so nice, by the way. So incredibly
Maybe we have
kind.
to go to a Gatsby party in Atlantic City.
I mean, why not? I'm like, anything goes, you know? But we went and we toured that venue, and it was honestly a perfect venue, the way that it was laid out. And you could have cocktail hour, and they had this really cool art gallery. It was kind of like a modern art gallery situation.
Oh, you can like kind of walk and like view it. Oh, that's so
It was really nice.
yeah, that's really cool.
So, but I was like, I can't get over the fact that it's in Atlantic City. Something about it is just not, it's not adding up for me.
I hear you.
No offense to anybody who has gotten married in Atlantic City. It just wasn't our vibe, but it was a really great, beautiful venue. And if you're looking for something, I don't know in the last like 5 years how that venue's doing, but it was great. And their staff was, to this day, the kindest out of everybody that we looked at venue wise.
Wow, that's great.
Now, our second runner up in the Northeast was Glen Cove.
Oh yeah.
We loved Glen Cove. There was this guy running everything named Steve. He was hilarious.
The fact that you remember his name.
I remember this man, like, he was so funny. So I hope, Steve, if you're out there, I hope you're doing well because you were so memorable.
Steve at Glen Cove.
Steve at Glen Cove.
Shout out to you.
He was awesome. He gave us the whole tour. He was like very old school New York. He's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. Like that whole vibe. Yes, with the thickest accent. But he knew, all the history of Glen Cove. And I was like, that's really cool. This looks like a Gatsby mansion, like when you pull up.
Yeah.
Ideally, if we had the budget, we would have gotten married at Ohika, like 1,000%. Side note, I do have to say, my friend's old roommate, his friend was, I guess, dating the guy who owns Ohika Castle at the time. And through the grapevine, I was kind of convinced that maybe we could get an in.
Oh my God.
At Ohika Castle. Just because of all of that. But that's okay.
Like, where is this going?
I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh, maybe, through this, connection, like maybe, I don't know. No, I'm delusional. But I did shoot my first wedding as a content creator at Ohika Castle. So it makes up for it.
You made it there.
I made it there. I manifested it in some way.
So where did you end up getting married?
So we ended up getting married at the Plaza Hotel in Daytona Beach, Florida. Way different plaza. Still a beautiful historic hotel. It was very important to Garrick and I that the venue that we chose had history. And the history of this hotel was it was built in the 1800s, and it was the first hotel in the Southeast to have electricity.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that.
So I'm like, perfect.
You're like,
this is the place
this
for
is
us.
what I've been looking for.
They had
the electricity is here.
They had electricity. They had AC.
Plumbing.
They had plumbing. Checking all my boxes.
I mean, that's what I look for in a wedding venue.
Yours didn't have AC though, so
no, parts of it did not have AC.
That's just Europe.
Yeah,
that's just Europe. They're a
they
little
also
behind.
lied to me. Okay,
we'll get into that.
They were not honest, so we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that. It's fine. So
fine. The stone kept it cold.
Kept it cold. We were comfortable.
Anywho, we're talking about your wedding at the Plaza.
Okay, so my wedding at the Plaza
in Daytona Beach, Florida.
So beautiful historic hotel. Garrick and I walked in. Immediately we were like, yes. Immediately, yes, this is great. I mean, both of us grew up in the area. We knew, all the local vendors. We felt really comfortable, it just felt like having a wedding at home because that's what it was. Although they did look at me like I had 10 heads when they were like, and this is our ceremony space. And because it's on the beach, the ceremony space that they have is literally on the beach. It's like this really nice, like little area that you can go outside and I'm looking at it and then I'm like, but we just walked through this really beautiful, long, grand hallway that has these like massive marble columns that go up. I don't know. They seemed like they went up 100 feet. Like it was like the biggest beautiful. Point. So beautiful. And I'm like, I think this is my aisle. Like, can I get married at this? Like, can I walk all the way down this long hallway?
We love a long aisle.
We love a long aisle. Very grand, very dramatic. And like on the other sides, like it was like the marble columns lining this like aisle. And then on the other sides were seating areas, like pieces of very large furniture, like fireplaces, like things like that. And it's just a massive hallway room type of thing.
We'll insert some photos. We'll insert some photos.
Yes, insert some photos. So I'm just looking at it and I'm like, can we get married here? Like, can we, like, we'll have the officiant here. I'll walk all the way down. I'll be in the staging room here, which is this business center. And I'm already like planning everything. All the gears in my head are turning. And the events director is looking at me and she's just like, but this is our ceremony space. Like people come here to get married on the beach. And I'm like, no. I was like, I think you're missing something.
You had a vision.
I had a vision. And I'm like, listen.
It was executed. And honestly, thank goodness, because what happened on your wedding day?
Oh, the weather was so bad. We couldn't even go outside for pictures. It was windy, gray, raining, just awful.
The vision was there for a reason.
Yes. And I'm someone who wants to just like remove as much anxiety from a wedding day as possible. And I knew that if I had to factor in weather, I actually would have gone insane. So I'm glad I just said to myself, you know what? We're going to just get married inside.
But it was beautiful.
It was so beautiful. It was everything I imagined. I wanted like this very like candles everywhere, like very glowy, very just like
romantic.
So romantic, soft and romantic. And so let's get into all the decor and all the little things.
I was going to say, nowadays, decor is probably people's biggest, like, aside from the venue and food and beverage, decor is the next biggest part of the budget.
Yes.
Because, my goodness, decor is expensive. And you don't even realize how much you need in order to have a wedding. And some places, depending on the venues, things aren't always included. So like you might have to pay for forks and knives and chairs and just so many things before flowers are even discussed. Right. So how did you approach all your decor?
So I initially, I'm not really like a big florals person to begin with. Like if my husband is going to bring me home something to be like, oh, thinking of you today, I would prefer like a pizza.
That's so funny because Emily announced her engagement with a slice of pizza.
I did. We have to insert that picture.
Insert the photo.
I got a slice. Well, we got a pizza from Joe's because like
Best pizza.
yeah, I mean, we couldn't go out to dinner in New York City because of how pandemic-y.
you're right.
The pandemic was pandemic-ing. So we couldn't like just go to a nice dinner. I'm like, let's just order pizza. And Garrick's like, this is a great idea. We had pizza, champagne, but I held the pizza and I was eating it
With
my ring. And I tagged Joe's and they reshared it, and I felt very famous. So
I cannot wait to tell your pizza story one day.
oh my God, so good.
So florals, not top of the list.
Not really the top of the list, and which was really, really funny because I hired the best florist and decorator in the area, and she is primarily a florist. Like that is her love language. That is what she does. I mean, she's a fabulous decorator as well, but she's a florist. And so I'm going through like my wishes on the phone with her, and my mom is sitting there and she's like, yeah, so like, what do you want to carry down the aisle for like your bouquet? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
I love your bouquet. There's this one photo. I am literally putting it here. It is my favorite photo from Emily's wedding. I think about this photo all of the time.
Josie killed it.
What did
Josie Brooks was my photographer.
She did, but
killed it.
Your bouquet,
just calla lilies.
It was calla lilies, and it fit so well.
My mom suggested it on the phone, and I just said, sure.
Your mom knew.
My mom could be a fabulous wedding planner. She knew exactly. My mom was really mad I wasn't going for more florals, but we got the quote back, and I was like, to me, this just feels unnecessary. I'd rather put that budget to something else. And like I said, the focus was to have as many people as possible. And there's like a huge chunk of Garrick's family that lived in Tennessee, like people that were traveling. They were going to make a whole trip out of it. I wanted to make it like a full weekend experience for everyone as much as we could. And that's what I wanted to put our budget into. And so florals for me, I was like, yeah, we need some. But like, we don't need to go crazy. I think my original quote I got for florals, decor, and everything was like $12,000, which honestly is very fair.
Well, this was also 2021.
Yeah.
Let's set the tone.
Yeah.
There.
In Daytona Beach, Florida.
Yeah.
So it also very much depends on where you're getting married.
For flowers.
It's a lot
to spend
definitely,
on flowers.
Definitely. Yeah. And so I got that and I was like, you know what? I am just going to chop a lot of that. And I think I ended up spending around $4,000 on decor and
That's
flowers and everything
insane.
when all was said and done. My one wish is I wanted a mirrored aisle, and I think they quoted me like $900 to unroll like the mirrored aisle runner thing, and I found it on Amazon for like 75
so
bucks.
stupid.
And I called them and I was like, can you just have someone unroll it? And they wanted to charge me for that, and I said, I know, but like, can you just unroll it? We're already spending thousands of dollars. Can you please just unroll it? And they were like, I mean, sure. And I was like, I've already taken it to the venue and tested it on the carpet. It literally just needs to be unrolled. If you can't do it, I'll have my stepdad do it.
But like, fair. You made it work.
We made it work. And they were like, oh yeah, no, we can just unroll it. And they were like, it's literally like, it's ready to go. It just, someone needs to just kick it, roll it down the aisle, you know? Now that I work in the wedding industry, I'm like, it's so much more than just like kicking it and rolling it down the aisle. So I feel bad.
I was going to say, but I was going to let you have that one.
But it's fine. You know, it's fine. Now we know things, and we could tell our couples, you know, that sometimes it's a little bit more than just kicking it and rolling it down the aisle.
Everything about a wedding is somewhat of a production.
It is.
It is. Even the things that seem the most authentic and real and just true to you and something you really want, to make it happen is not just like, oh, we're going to put some flowers, you know, in a vase.
Right.
It is so much more. And this is everything.
It's a whole thing.
Like even like a platform for your wedding.
Right.
Like for like an aisle, like they have to build it. Like it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
And if it's not done properly, yes, it looks bad. Yes, it could get, you know, messed up as you're walking down the aisle.
Money.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
That's why you have to pick and choose.
You got to pick and choose. So that's where we decided to kind of allocate some of, you know, budget, a little DIY here and there, never hurt, you know. And so we went with all of that, and it was gorgeous. I remember walking down the aisle, seeing it. And I know, like, in my head, I pictured it a million times, you know, and then you get to the point where you see all the all the familiar faces. They're all just looking at you, and then you're looking at them, and it was glowy and so romantic. And I just remember thinking as I started walking down the aisle, like, I feel like this is what heaven will feel like.
That's so sweet.
Like, it just was like such a beautiful moment. And it was something I could think of a million times in my head, but when you're actually having that experience after all the work that you've put in, and your person is standing at the other end and you're walking to them and you have all of your loved ones around you, it's just like, it's magical.
Yeah.
So everything turned out so gorgeous and so beautiful and better than I had imagined. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't remember doing like a ceremony room reveal or anything. So I think that was like the first time that I saw it was like when I was walking down the aisle. And I was like, damn, we did pretty good.
We did pretty good.
So
decor-wise, you focus way more on candles. Did you do what did you do for your tables?
So tables, we focused on some like really fun tablecloths because I wanted it to feel like a little artsy. And then we did do some arrangements with feathers, some arrangements with flowers. I wanted everything to be like really grand and really big, but I still wanted people to see each other.
Yeah.
Through the grand arrangements.
That's hard.
Because that's the worst. And we had 10 people at a table. So it was like, I know some people would like chat together here and chat together here, but I wanted these two people to be able to be like, oh my gosh, haven't seen you in a little bit,
Hey, across the way.
Yeah. So see you on the dance floor, So I thought about the entire guest experience when I went in and I did like a walkthrough with my florist and decorator on everything. And we went through all of the different tablescapes. And at first I remember looking at our sweetheart table, and she had picked out like a sparkly linen or something for that. And I looked at it, I was like, this is giving like Sweet 16. We got to change this. And then I saw like a different sparkly fabric because I wanted it to be like different than everybody else's. And I wanted it to have a little glitter because hello, it's me. We got to have a little shimmer somewhere. And I found this like, it's not like a mesh, but it kind of had like holes in it, but it was like glittery gold. And I was like, let's layer that on like this really cool, different like black fabric. And we played around with it. And I was like, this
is it.
Fun, different. This is what I want.
I love it.
Planned that all out. Looked great. We did twinkly lights behind us. It was really, really pretty. Our sweetheart table was on the stage in the ballroom because they have like stage option. And I was like, we should be on the stage. That should be where our table is.
That's so you.
So we were sat on the stage and we had all these twinkly lights behind us. It was so pretty.
So pretty.
And then our wedding cake also, we almost didn't have a wedding cake.
Yeah.
That was.
Tell me about that.
So my mom and I were like calling bakeries in the area, and a lot of them like wouldn't, like, they just were like, oh, I'm not doing cakes anymore.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'm like, it's a wedding cake. Do I want to just
to have a wedding cake?
Yeah, I'm like, do I just get it from Publix? Like, what
Publix cake slap. Oh my gosh.
They're so good. My mom and my stepdad had a Publix cake for their wedding, and it was phenomenal. And they put little seashells on it because they had like a beachy wedding. And it's just,
that's my favorite. I would probably eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
We should go get some after this.
Absolutely, we should. Yes. Mm-hmm. All right, I know where we're going. Straight to the nearest Publix. So we could do a wedding cake tasting at Publix. You know what? We should have somebody from the wedding cake department at Publix come on this podcast, and we should try cake flavors. Cake test. What do you guys think about that?
Sounds so good.
Perfect.
Okay, Publix, reach out to our managers.
Yep.
Us.
Yep.
Our people.
We'll call you.
So
my
you
cake
kind of talked about like your budgeting. We were talking at lunch earlier today.
Yes.
And I was shook to my core when you were telling me all the ways that you kind of got a reduced rate. And yes, a lot did have to do with the pandemic. But I also think that's something that a lot of people don't know that they can do, especially when you are working with a small business. Mm-hmm. Small businesses really want to work with you. And if you're kind to them, that is like everything.
Yeah.
And is that kind of like what you did? Like, how did you kind of go about finding people that would fit into your vision, into your budget, while still like having a lot of respect for them and their work and their craft?
So I got really lucky because Josie Brooks, who I'm sure many of you know who are listening to this, lives on the same street as my parents.
This
Like,
crazy story.
My mom literally was like, "Oh, I have a wedding photographer for you," and I'm like, "Surely my mom doesn't know like wedding photographers, you know?" No, my mom really knew a wedding photographer. And I looked at her work and I'm like, I think this is my wedding photographer. And her and I just like started chatting. We hit it off. She gave me a great price. I feel like I got a steal because this was kind of before she blew up and like was in Vogue and all of this stuff.
She's awesome.
She is so talented.
And feel free to share prices where you feel comfortable.
So, yeah, I don't think she would mind me sharing this either. But
this was years ago, too.
Years ago, I'm pretty sure I paid like $4,000 for her package. I want to say we had her for like 8 hours. She brought a second shooter. It was fabulous. It was amazing.
That's a great price.
Yeah. So
for 2 shooters for the whole... Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
And she did an engagement session for Garrick and I as well. And
I also think that's really important is, you know, when people have like, when they have really big names behind them, like, you know, Vogue or People, or you know, like they're just featured a lot. Of course, their pricing is most likely going to reflect that. And just because someone is not featured and just because they might not have tens of thousands of followers does not mean that they are not incredibly talented, because you might just get someone before they blow up. And I'm convinced that Emily and I both got our photographers before they absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if you see someone in like on Instagram and they have like 2,000 followers, but you're like, their work is awesome, like give them a chance and you'll probably get the best like wedding photos of your entire life.
It's crazy because like a lot of my wedding photos are inspiration for my clients' wedding photos who are booking photographers and paying 20 grand or more for them, you know? Yeah. And so that it just goes to show that like if you know, you find someone talented who you really click with and vibe with, it doesn't matter.
No, like
hire them.
Followers and like features don't always...
Doesn't
like,
matter.
That's not an indicator if they are talented necessarily. Right. Like, you know, like, of course, those people are very talented, but just because they're not featured doesn't mean that they are not talented and that they wouldn't be your dream photographer or dream videographer or dream content creator.
Exactly.
Or literally anyone.
And I just really loved about her work, too, that she was like getting into like film and flash, and she just like loved to play. And I didn't really even send her very much inspo. I just loved her work and knew that she was going to knock it out of the park with whatever vision she had. I wanted her to just look through her lens and do her thing. And she did the damn thing.
She did.
And because it rained on our wedding day and was so gross and we got 0 pictures outside, she came to New York to shoot a wedding, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months after our wedding, and did this insane session with us in Central Park. And we ran around Central Park. Got to put our wedding clothes back on. Got to have my dog in the photos. Finally, we took these iconic pictures, you know, like the little bikes that like people drive you around. I got bikes for her and her second, and then Garrick and I, and we have all these like amazing pictures on these like funny bikes going around New York City.
I like need to show everyone. They're so good. I just love that she was like, you know what? Put your wedding dress back on. We're going to get outside photos in the place that you guys live and you love, and you're NYC Emily. So this makes sense.
It makes so much sense. And so we got pictures in our iconic apartment building that we lived in that just has such a special place in our heart. And just, she captured such a special time in our lives. Like, of course, obviously our wedding was, but this also too was so unique and cool.
I love that.
So I just, yeah, we love Josie Brooks a lot. We love her.
I know. So we've kind of talked about your wedding and you loved your wedding. But now you work a lot of weddings and you see all these things. Is there anything, if budget was of course not an option, not that you would like change your entire wedding, but that you would add to your wedding? What do you think you would add to your wedding if budget wasn't really an option, but you've kind of seen now of the impact it could make in the day?
So there were a couple things where I was like, I wish I would have stretched my budget a little bit more. Granted, like, I obviously, like, our focus was people. So just being able to get as many people as possible. I wish now, looking back, that maybe instead of having just like massive amounts of people at our wedding, that maybe I was a little bit stricter with who came to our wedding.
Okay.
Because I was talking to you earlier about the seating and everything.
Yeah.
And I happened to have this girl who kind of like joined in on my bachelorette party because she just was in the same town. And I was like, you know, should we invite this person? And she was friends with one of my other friends. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'd love to see her. And so then I was like, I'll just invite her to the wedding and she can bring a +1 so she doesn't feel like by herself. And then like her and my friend had a falling out before my wedding. And then she was mad that she got sat with a group of our high school friends. But I didn't know that she had drama with them. And she's like, well, that's this other girl's friend group. Why would you sit me with them? She sent me a whole DM like the day after the wedding, like so offended.
I'm literally like, what is going on?
And I'm like, girl, like I let you have a +1. Like okay, whatever. I just never talked to this girl again. But anyway, so.
Well, like, I think, let me reframe my question. So, like, not that you would change necessarily about, like, your budgeting, but just now that you go to a lot of weddings, is there anything that you're like, I would have loved to have that, or that would have added to the day?
Yeah. So, okay, one thing that I look back on my photos, more so than, like, having more florals, which I think I definitely would have more florals, I needed a custom dance floor. Those things make the biggest difference in the world.
That's what I'm talking about. I was like, we got to know. Yeah.
That would be the number one thing.
Custom dance floor.
Custom dance floor. I would do a black and white checkered dance floor.
I love a black and white checkered dance floor.
Yes, you do.
I do.
That is my number one pick. If we are doing like a custom like vinyl, like I love like a white dance floor. I love the mirrored ones. They get really dirty, but they're so cool looking.
Wait, I have to stop. Okay, if you are having a mirrored dance floor and you do not have everybody in formal floor-length gowns, you can see up people's dresses.
Yes.
So be careful.
So be very careful.
Because oh my gosh, like PSA, I literally was like, oh my gosh, this is not okay. I like had to go up to people and be like, yeah, I don't know if you want to be on the. Oh my god, like it was bad. And
let it get a little dirty, and then it's not like
let it get stuffed up first.
Because like when people start dancing on it and spilling their drinks on it and everything, like it's not mirrored anymore.
Printed dance floors, like
custom prints. You can have like an artist go and like draw something custom for you and make it, and then they can blow it up and make it into like the most beautiful dance floor ever.
This is what I'm talking about. I was like, if you don't have a budget,
and that is the focal point of the room.
It makes such a difference in photos.
It really does. So
That's
that
what
would be like
told
my
me.
number one change is that.
I love that. I was like, there had to be something that you would just be like, that's what I would do.
Number one change.
Okay.
Custom dance floor.
Oh, and wait, I love this fun fact. When Emily bought her dress at Pronovius, she didn't know this, but she found her dress online. And tell them really quickly, like, about your dress.
Okay, so I'm looking at my dress because I'm trying to do all my research to get the best price on my dress. And I look up. I'm like, Pronovius Pickford gown. This gown was inspired by the 1920s.
Like insane. I like chills. Like that's crazy.
It's so cool. And like by looking at the dress, it's got like the vibe kind of.
Which is probably why you were drawn to it in the first place.
But it's not like, a costume.
It's not like a costume at all.
No.
It's not like no.
It's just like a very like regal, like
I think it's like
version of
the
the 1920s.
lines of the beading.
Yes.
I think it's like the silhouette of the beading kind of like contours your body in a certain way. And I feel like that is what really was inspired.
This dress is just the dress of dreams because it had every single thing on it you could think of. Sequins, pearls, diamonds, floral sequins.
Beading.
All the beading. 3 different kinds of lace. Illusion mesh. I couldn't even wear underwear because the illusion was...
It was
illusionated. And I'm like, how funny. I like walk up to the aisle or walk down the aisle and I like see Garrick and I'm like, I'm not wearing any underwear.
That would have been the funniest thing.
I did tell him though beforehand. I was like, I do have to go commando. Like I have to. Like I had no underwear on my whole wedding. But I found out most brides have to do that.
A lot too, especially if you have a form-fitting dress or like satin, because you can see it.
You can see it. I had no idea. I was ready.
Some form of shapewear.
I got so many things of shapewear, and I put it on at my final fitting,
Yours
and I
is
couldn't
hard.
move. The fabric was like, it was rubbing together, and it was like allowing me to not move.
So I think a tip with shapewear for wedding dresses is to size up or two, like do a size or two larger than if you were actually like really being snatched in, because it gives you clean lines without you not being able to sit down or not being able to breathe or dance or anything or eat, because you have to eat on your wedding day. Very important.
Yes.
So I always say do a size or two up because it is tight. I literally wore biker shorts.
I love
from
that.
Target. I couldn't find the Spanx, and my mom was she was walking around my venue in biker shorts, and I was like, Mom, I can't find my things. Can I have what you're wearing? She's like, sure.
I didn't know that.
Literally, they were like pink. Like they weren't nude. Like it was the most classic thing ever. It was such a move, but I thought that was really funny, like about your dress, and just it kind of like was like a full circle
Behind the scenes of my wedding.
I love that. Which now brings us to our favorite little segment where we pick a Taylor. Oh, I'm sorry. It's because we pick a Taylor Swift song. It's because
tell them why.
Our life mission, both personal and professional, is to shoot Taylor Swift's wedding.
Yes.
To whomever she chooses. It is we want what you want. That's what we're here for. And so we love to choose a song of Taylor's that we feel fits the feel and the vibe of our session today, of our episode.
Yes.
And so what is the song that you think fits the vibe of your wedding, of today? What are we doing?
So I was kind of looking through all of her songs because I was like, I feel like mine is not something where it's just like very obvious. And I'm going through and Tortured Poets Department comes on. So High School plays. And I immediately was like, this is the song. This is it.
Of course it's So High School. Your high school sweetheart.
Feel so high school every time I look at you.
That's literally perfect.
And like that takes me back to when Garrick and I started dating, and like, you know, we started dating our junior year of high school. And so
it's very like the kicks that she does. I feel like that's like
the
so
little
the vibe. I was gonna do it, but
it was very giddy. It was very like, you know, so innocent, so cute. You know, seeing each other in the hallway and like getting all, you know, red. We actually, fun fact, started officially dating on March 31st, 2013. And that was Easter Sunday.
Oh my God, this is so funny.
And so
I was like, where are you going? And I was like, I know.
So Monday we go to school and it's April 1st and everybody thinks our relationship is a joke.
Because we're fools. That is literally the funniest.
I had this one girl come up to me and she was like, listen, so I heard you're dating Garrick now. And if this isn't an April Fool's joke, don't do anything crazy to him because he's really nice. And I was like, okay.
Okay. 12 years later.
12 years later.
Oh my gosh. So if we're going to take it back to high school and we're going to loosely, this is all for fun. We're not taking this too seriously. How would we plan a wedding inspired by Taylor Swift's So High School?
I think it would be so cool to pick like a really epic campus.
I was going to say like turn the football field into like build like a custom build like on the football field.
Exactly. Which I think is also very fitting if it's to Travis Kelce because obviously he would be so into that. And it makes sense to honor that. So I think that's where it happens. It maybe takes place on a football field.
I think it would be, but like it would not be too cheesy.
No, and definitely not like a football themed wedding.
No. But just like
But that's just the
when
location.
they build like a tent, like it's like
Yes.
a platform and like a whole thing. Like it's,
Yes.
you wouldn't really know, but like we know.
But like we know it's
know.
special. The ground that we're walking on is a football field underneath this build.
She walks down the
She walks down the
50-yard
field.
line.
Yeah, she's like, I feel so high.
After their first kiss.
Yeah.
They do a kick.
Woo. I love the part of the song.
Touchdown.
Woo.
You don't kick for a touchdown, but you know what I'm
It's
saying.
fine. You know, we're just girls.
We went to Alabama. We know how football works, but I was like, I don't know where I want to go with this.
So cute. I think in
But-
their vows, like they have to include about the first time that they saw each other. Cause like in the song, she's like, tell me about the first time you saw me. Like, I think that's so cute. Cause
I
like,
love that.
You know, when you're in high school or you're like first dating someone, you're like, okay, and tell me, what did you think when you first saw me? You know? And I think like if they put that in their vows and like maybe they read like more intimate vows. Because like I don't think we've talked about that in any of the episodes about like if they would do like a first look or something like that.
I don't think they would do a first look.
I don't think they would either.
Not in this scenario.
No, and I think it's like they lay all their cards out on the table in front of everyone. You know, they read their vows, they do the whole thing. They see each other for the first time. You know, they laugh, they cry,
And
very sweet.
and then the entire reception is throwbacks to high school.
Yes,
The whole playlist.
the whole playlist.
I don't know when she was in high school. I don't know the years, but early
she was in the
2000s.
bling era,
early 2000s of some
early
kind.
2000s. She's like dancing.
Probably like 07, 08,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
Goodies by Sierra comes on. She loses it.
Loses
She's
it.
so excited.
Honestly, I think she changes into like,
A juicy tracksuit.
I was going to say like a two-piece and like pants.
I mean, this could be like her little like very like end of the night look. Maybe she has multiple looks. She has like her wedding. She changes into like a two-piece cute set, and then she ends it with like a custom juicy tracksuit.
No, that's exactly what happens.
I think that's
just married on the on the back of the sweatshirt, and then like bride on the butt.
yeah. Kelsey on the butt.
She'll always be Miss Dr. Taylor Allison Swift.
I mean,
I don't know what Dr. means.
I agree, but
first.
maybe just for that night.
You're right. It'll be fun.
I think it's cute to be like
I think she would find that very endearing,
endearing, charming,
very charming.
I think
I think that's how it would go.
I think it would be like very formal, but also
Like a senior prom.
Yeah.
But like not a
Yeah.
formal senior prom
exactly.
because they're throwing it back.
Yeah, I think she'd maybe have like rhinestones on her dress.
I could see that.
I could see this being like very,
I would see like a poofy dress.
yeah, I see a sweetheart neckline.
Yep.
Bling lining it. Poofy dress.
Like a Panina bling.
Exactly. Like big
You kn-
bling.
I mean, this is, if we're throwing it back to 2008, that Panina dress, you know,
Yes.
like that's it.
That's the dress. I think that's what she's in. And I feel like in every episode we say that her hair is like natural, but like I just,
Well,
you know
'cause
what I
it's- well,
picture?
it has-
Love Story music video hair.
Oh, interesting. I didn't picture that, but
Like where it's like she's got her curls, but it's like kind of like an updo, but she's got like, you know, some hair hanging down. I think that's cute.
and the colors of the wedding are whatever the high school colors were that they were at
Yeah.
or inspired by.
Yes. Whatever those are.
I don't know what those are.
Let's
but
just, we'll go with that. I love it.
I love it, and
And they live
That's-
happily ever after.
they live happily. They live happily ever after.
They graduated.
And that's a wrap for this episode. I feel like that's the perfect note to leave it on.
I do too. Well,
We loved hearing about your wedding.
Thank you. I loved
Thank you
sharing
for
everything. I'm sure we'll probably dig into even more little details.
Oh
as
yeah,
this-
that was like the most general overview ever. But we
Yes.
only have so much time right now. So
know.
leave questions, any questions you have. We'd love to do another episode just answering all of your questions.
I can't wait to discuss your wedding.
Oh my goodness. It's not even been a year. I'm not even prepared for some of the things to talk about, but
We met because of your wedding.
we did. So
So thank you for
tune
getting
in
married.
for part 2.
Tune in for part 2. We're going to discuss all of Jesse's wedding.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Vow Factor
And we'll see you on Monday.
on Monday.
Bye.
Bye.